Hey guys, this is a recording for Lunch Bunch, and this video is for fourth grade. Fourth grade, we're on chapter 7 right now, and I'm just going to give a little bit of recap of what's happened so far. So, when we last left off in Liar Society, we had Jack and Press who went to Lakeview Woods when they were not supposed to. They crossed the lake on the sailboat and they threw all these little snappets on the ground. They're not flammable, except when they looked up and around, suddenly the woods are on fire. So they make their escape, and Jack's dad handles it. But Jack also overheard his dad on the phone with somebody at the end there saying that he had made some sort of agreement and Jack put it in danger with his actions. So we don't know what's happening there. For Weatherby, she finished her sailing practice, but not in a good way because she capsized the boat. She knocked it over, she fell into the water, and then something happened where she couldn't get out, but thankfully Teddy saved her. So now we're picking up on chapter 7 with Weatherby. Mom is late to pick me up, and when she finally pulls around in the circle in front of Butler House, she's on a work call. I don't mind that much, or maybe I'm just used to her job. Mom runs her own public relations business, and sometimes there's no one else who can fill in for her. I'm grateful she doesn't notice my wet hair because I don't want to talk about practice. Mom won't understand. She doesn't get sailing. That's a dad thing, or it would be if he was here. It takes less than 10 minutes to get from the tall, manicured hedges in the big gate outside of Boston School to our one-floor, two-bedroom condo at Lakeview Woods, which does not actually have a lake view. Not even close. The lake is a 10-minute walk away. I feel an instant shift when Mom pulls off campus. Before I can unzip my backpack to take out my phone, I hear buzzing and beeping from inside my pocket. My chest feels tight and I realize my phone was on all day, but no alerts or messages got through to me. No one at school was using their phones either. Until now, I thought everyone was being careful about following the rules. Then maybe the signals are somehow blocked. I spent the day in another world. The way things work at Boston is different. The rules, the traditions, even the words we use make everything sound special. The parent pickup line is called the circle. The gym is a field house. The cafeteria is the dining hall. You can't just walk in and know your way around. Nothing works the same here as it does out there. After Mom pulls up in front of our condo and parks the car, I follow the path of colorful flowers. Lilacs, peonies, out to our front door, and I feel like I can breathe again. But when I do, the air smells like a mix of must and sweet pine and plastic burning. I turn, and in the distance, it looks like there's a cloud of smoke above the trees. Is that from a fire? I ask Mom, who's finally off the phone. Should we call 911? Mom turns to look, and then I hear sirens, and I see red lights flashing over by the smoke. Looks like the fire department is already taking care of the situation, she says, then wraps her arms around me and pulls me close. Now, tell me about your first day. It was hard. My words barely make it out. Mom hugs me tighter. I sink into her, letting my body sag in relief, and I'm crying salty lake water tears. First days are always like that. Voice is soft. You'll feel better inside. And she's right. Our mudroom smells like cinnamon and home. I love our house. Mom's best friend from middle school, Caden, is now a celebrity interior designer in LA. So when we moved in 3 years ago, she rearranged her schedule to help us turn that white box into a place of style. We spent 3 glorious days touring vintage antique stores and loading a truck with everything colorful and comfortable. Caden hung art and organized the pantry. She stayed until our condo felt like a home. Over spring break, Mom let me go to those stores and add a few Caden-approved touches. A small painting of a sailboat and a little table. I don't take off my coat right away when I get in. I'm still cold and a little shaky from the water. Mom doesn't notice. She's lost in her email and dinner is in a paper bag on the counter from luncheon. Mom has been friends with the owner's son, Nick, since they were kids, so he makes our meals when Mom can't. Sorry, sweetheart. Mom glances up at me. I just need to finish this one thing, and then we'll eat. I promise. It'll be quick. No big deal, I say. Thanks, honey. She sits down at the table, and her thumbs start to speed up, ducking and dodging and dancing around each other. Mom is in her navy work dress, and her thick hair is perfectly styled, cut to her collarbone. Everyone says we look alike. It's meant to be a compliment. I sort of see what they mean. We're both tall, with heart-shaped faces. But Mom has soft features and blue eyes that remind me of the ocean in Maine. I don't have that kind of face. My cheeks are bigger, my nose is sharper, and my eyes are deep brown, like Dad's. I've seen his picture, an old headshot on the University of Bern website from where he used to work. Mom's phone rings again, too loud, like a siren. Everything is an emergency. No, sorry, guys. Everything is an emergency. Genevieve Walker, Mom answers, disappearing into the hall. I open the bag on the counter because I'm starting to get hungry, and I smile when I see breakfast for dinner. My favorite meal for my first day. I reach inside and pull out big, fluffy pancakes, a crispy vegetable hash, avocado toast, berries, and a note. Reheat the oven. Be good. Nick. I turn on the oven, slide the hash inside, and set the timer with an extra 6 minutes to offset the fact that I ignored his note to preheat. As I sat down on the table and opened my thick Latin textbook, my legs ache, bruised from the boat. There's a stabbing pain in my hamstrings, and suddenly I feel like I was trapped underwater again, coughing and choking and trying to remember how to breathe. I grit my teeth, and the only thought in my head right now is I'm so much better than I sailed today. I lift my chin high and breathe in deep. There's no chance I'm going to let Jack Hunt think he's right about me. I was lucky that day at the regatta, but luck isn't enough. I want more. I don't want just to stay. I want to win. I'm going to earn my spot in boat one. Is everything okay? Mom asks as she slides back into her chair. She's looking at me now. Her phone is on the table. I have her attention, and this is my chance to ask. Did Dad ever tell you anything about his Boston school trip to Hart Isle? I don't think so. Mom shifts in her seat. But I got an email from Boston about your trip. They sent over a packing list. I smile wide. I hope I get put in the same hall as Dad. That would be so cool. Teddy says they usually try to keep the families together. Teddy? Mom arches a brow. Is that a new friend? I bite my lip and nod. Yeah, I think so. That's great, honey, Mom says, a little too eager to hear that someone wants to be my friend, and I can tell she's trying to change the subject away from Dad. I'm only allowed to ask about Dad's work and school. I'm not supposed to ask about his family. They're not good people. They're the reason my parents never got married. Mom didn't want his family to be her family. And I get that she's trying to protect me. But when I'm 18, I'm going to Switzerland to find them. That's where they live now. They moved back around the same time Dad did. And I want to know things about Dad. Most of the time, Mom can't give me that. That's why I didn't tell her about Dad's journal being delivered to me. Normally, I don't keep secrets from Mom. But she never talks about him. And for once, I didn't feel like talking to her about Dad either. Except now I really want answers. So I try again. Are you sure Dad never told you what he saw on Hart Isle? Mom swallows like she's thinking hard and shakes her head. I sigh loudly. I just want to know who he was and what he was like so I can know if I'm like him or not, I say. I've told Mom all this before. Weatherby, you get to decide who you want to be, Mom says back. No one else. He doesn't determine you. Mom doesn't think Dad should matter. She wants to be enough for me. Most of the time she is. But Mom grew up with both her parents. She doesn't get why I have so many questions. She doesn't understand what it feels like not to know things about your own family. I'm tired, honey. I've had a long day. Can we take a break from talking about your dad? I swallow. Sure. Mom is always tired when I want to talk about Dad. It's not fair. Beep, beep. Mom stands up and walks over to the oven, takes out the hash. She warms up the pancakes and brings everything to the table. When she sits down again, we both serve ourselves, and then she holds out her cup. I clink my Boston School box alkaline water against her mug. It's a truce. She takes a bite, and I do too. It's crispy and salty and a little sweet. Mom smiles at me. You're right. Breakfast for dinner really is the best. I smile back and try to let the good parts of Mom matter more than the ones I don't understand, because I know she isn't trying to hurt me by not talking about Dad. That has to count for something. When I'm done with my homework, I go down the hall to my room, close the door, and collapse on my bed. Everything I did last week is my old version of normal. Going to South Middle, sailing with Skip, running my own experiments. It feels so far away. I've been doing labs at home for a year, ever since the construction started at South Middle, and my classes got moved to an annex, and our lab hours were cut. I didn't want to fall behind in science, so I kept practicing by myself. But for now, as long as I'm at Boston, science can go back to being fun. A little water break. I reach under my mattress, taking out Dad's journal. I wish I could tell him how badly I messed up sailing practice. I wonder what he would say. I bet he'd know how to make me feel better. Before Hart Isle, he was always doubting himself too. If Dad were here, I wouldn't feel so alone. I'm not sure if you're allowed to miss someone you've never met, but I do. All right, guys, I want you to pay attention for this next part. We're going to get some clues about Hart Isle. I'm careful as I open the weathered hunter green moleskin and start turning the thin lined pages, flipping to the part where Dad talks about Hart Isle, because I'm going to be there in 3 weeks. The view was like nothing I'd ever seen in my life. It was better than the Galapagos. Even Gus, who never liked hiking or beautiful places, had been shocked. As soon as we started walking along the trail on Pine, I felt like we were climbing higher and higher, heading nowhere in circles through an enormous maze. For so long, we saw nothing but golden hydrangeas and evergreens, until our path opened up onto a rocky cliff and the ocean was in front of us, sparkling on all sides. I felt the sea air in my face. Hart Isle was the coolest place I'd ever been. I decided to go off trail, following a nearly invisible, unnamed path until I got to a strange metal fence. I hopped over to the other side and kept going, even after the path ended and the brush started to scratch my legs, until I reached a dead end, a line of thick evergreens. I pulled apart the sticky bristles, fighting my way through the branches to see the other side, and the sight in front of me stopped me in my tracks. I stood there, unable to move, staring out, letting the view sink in. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. In that moment, something changed me forever. And that's where the page ends. The next page is torn out. There are a bunch of pages like that. Some are numbered and stuck in the back. This one is just missing. I close my eyes and try to imagine an incredible waterfall or animal cave or natural resource that Dad saw that day. I can almost smell the salty air and feel the breeze. In my mind, there's shimmering water all around me, like he described. I hold on tight to his words and picture myself on Hart Isle, walking the same paths as him. It's so close. I'm almost there. All right, and that's the end of our chapter. I hope you guys listened all the way to the end. Sorry for the few slip-ups that I had. Sometimes your mouth gets tired after reading all of these chapters. So when we have Lunch Bunch next time, we'll pick up at chapter 8, and we'll start again with Jack's story. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.